Good YouTube, Quinn Wade. Come to y'all with that instant basketball analysis on Analysis Playground on YouTube to talk about that Utah Jazz versus Golden State Warriors game where Jazz was able to make some crucial shots and they was able to make their free throws, and the Warriors still had a chance to tie it with Santos, but he ended up double clutching and missing the three. Gary Payton was really good. Pat Spencer was good. DeAnthony Melton was good. Just a good game from the Warriors, but just not enough to win the game. But Golden State did win the season series 3-1, since this was the last time they see in the season since Utah don't look like they're going to be in the play-in or the playoffs. And that's going to be true, it looks like. They're 20-45 and 12-21 at home. The Warriors are 32-32 and 13-19 on the road. Utah won the first quarter 29-27, the second quarter 30-28, the third quarter 32-29, and then they lost the fourth quarter 32-28. So you look at it like they won every quarter besides the fourth, but they still was able to get the win. Draymond Green, 32 minutes. He had 6 points. He was the only starter for the Warriors not to score in double figures in points. He went 2 of 7 from the field, 1 of 5 from 3, 1 of 2 from the free throw line. The jump shot just wasn't there. Let's just go ahead and just be honest with you. The jump shot just wasn't there for him, no matter where he was at on the court. He did have 11 assists, though. That's one of his best skills, is knowing where his teammates are going to be at and delivering the pass right on time and right on target and getting rid of it quick sometimes where the defense can't even catch up to be able to stop or interrupt it or even make it tough for the person to score it. Other than that, he had 1 offensive rebound, 4 personal fouls, was a -3 on plus minus. Guy Santos, 33 minutes, 15 points, 6 of 13 from the field. He did go 1 of 7 from 3, and like I said, he missed one that could have tied the game in the end of the game, but wasn't meant to be for him tonight. You know, that's a guy that you want shooting a 3. He can make them, he can knock them down, but you rather him do that than finish in the paint. But he also went 2 of 4 from the free throw line. He grabbed 8 boards. That was tied for the most on the team. And then he had 5 assists. That was actually really good from him, you know, just trying to find a way to look at and see where his teammates are at and not just jacking up shots just because he feel like he can. 2 steals, 3 offensive boards, 1 personal foul in the -6 and plus minus. Quentin Post gave him 25 minutes. He had 10 points. He went 0 of 6 from 3. They needed some of those to fall if they was going to win. Didn't happen. But he also went 5 of 13 from the field when he was scoring in the paint. He didn't really make a lot of those either. Well, he made more of those, obviously, because he missed all of his threes. But, you know, he still missed a lot of 2-pointers, too, even though he's a 7-footer. You think that he should be able to make them a little easier than he did tonight. 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 turnover, 1 steal, 1 offensive rebound, 2 personal fouls, and a 0 in plus minus. DeAnthony Melton, 20 minutes, 22 points, 7 of 16 from the field, 3 of 6 from 3, 5 of 5 from the free throw line. They needed his offensive pop in this game. Obviously, he scored the most points on the team, and he didn't play that many minutes, but he just knows when to shoot, how to get open, and, you know, somebody had to pick up the slack, and he said, I do it. I don't have no problem with doing it. I done did it throughout the season before, and I do it tonight. And he did take the most shots on the team, so it makes sense. 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, 2 steals, and a block. He always been known for his defense, and he was competing and trying to make it as tough as he could on the Jazz players, especially the perimeter ones. 4 offensive rebound, 3 personal fouls, and a -3 and plus minus. Brendan Podziemski, 35 minutes. He ended up playing the most minutes on the team, and he has been doing that. He had to start to give them more scoring and more passing. He had 14 points. He went 5 of 10 from the field, 4 of 6 from 3, but he went all 4 from the free throw line. They needed some of those free throws to go down. Didn't happen, and those are the easier shots he really got in this one. But he did have 8 boards. That was great. And then he had 4 assists and 2 steals. That was very helpful. They needed somebody to make some extra plays and make some things happen. He was able to do that. But he did have 3 turnovers and 2 personal fouls, which isn't the worst thing. But he was a -6 and plus minus. Leon's 13 minutes, 0 2 from the field. He did miss his only 3. And he did have 2 rebounds, 1 assist, a steal, and no turnovers, 1 offensive board, 3 personal fouls, and was a -7 and plus minus. Seth Curry came in and gave them what they thought that he could, which is shooting and scoring. He went 4 of 6 from the field, 2 of 3 from the 3-point line, and 3 of 3 from the free throw line. He can give you a little playmaking too. He had 3 assists. He needed to come in and be a factor, and he did. And that's all you can really ask him for, is try to leave a positive impact as much as you could. And I think he did a really good job of getting open and, not being in the way and keeping the ball moving and things of that nature. 1 offensive board, no personal fouls, in the +3 and plus minus. Gary Payton II, 25 minutes, that ended up being the most off the bench. He had 13 points. He was playing like a center out there, hook shots and getting to the basket and dunking on people in the paint. He had a really solid game, man. 13 points, 5 of 11 shooting. He did go 1 of 5 from 3. He was having so much success in the paint. You kind of wonder why would he even want to shoot a 3. And then he went 2 of 2 from the free throw line, had 1 rebound, no turnover, and a steal. And then the rebound was offensive, 2 personal fouls, one was a +1 and plus minus. Nate Williams, 13 minutes, but he still gave you 12. 5 of 8 shooting from the field, 1 of 3 from the 3-point line, 1 of 1 from the free throw line. He always found himself where he wanted to be. It was then, can you put the ball in the basket after you got the shot that you feel like you can get? And he did a good job of scoring and finishing and even knocking down a 3. He had 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 turnover, and a steal. He also had all of his rebounds being offensive, and that was the best you can get. 1 personal foul was a -1 and plus minus. LJ Cryer, 17 minutes. He ended up having 11 points. He went 4 of 9 from the field, 3 of 8 from 3. He had 5 rebounds. That ended up being the most on the team. He had 2 assists. He also had 1 turnover. He had 1 steal, 2 offensive rebounds, 1 personal foul was a +8 and plus minus. He kept finding ways to move without the basketball, and it ended up working for him a lot in this one. Obviously, he missed a lot of threes too. You want to at least make 2 more of those. Couldn't get it done tonight though, but he helped tremendously on the boards and kept, moving without the basketball to find a way to keep the offense flowing and going as much as they could. And then Pat Spencer, it's sad for him too. He went 0 of 4 from the field and 0 of 2 from 3. He had 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 turnover, and a steal. He also had 1 offensive board, 1 personal foul, and a -1 and plus minus. He did a lot of things for this team, but you still needed him to score. Since he didn't do that, it still is an okay night because he helped in other ways. And then you look at the Utah Jazz. They won it by 3, but their starters and their bench really stepped up in this one, how they needed it to happen. And that's what they had to get to win this one, because the Warriors really came moving the ball, cutting, and doing all these things to be able to score efficiently. And then the Jazz had to step it up a little bit, and they did. They scored a little bit more freely than the Warriors did, and that is what ended up giving them a slight edge to be able to win this one. Kyle Filipowski, 25 minutes, 19 points. He went 6 of 12 from the field, 1 of 3 from the 3-point line, 6 of 6 from the free throw line. He got a double-double, 15 boards. He's still big. He's still strong. And they didn't really have anybody that can stop him or slow him down. And then he had 4 offensive boards out of the 15, so he still had double figures even with the offensive ones. And that's the type of night that he had. Just let me space the floor when I can, and let me just try to finish near the basket as much as I can. And if I can't, just make sure I get some contact sometimes too, so I can get to the free throw line. And then he was able to make all of them. He did have 5 assists, 4 turnovers, 2 steals in the block, 4 offensive rebounds, 1 personal foul, a +1 and plus minus. Cody Williams played 43 minutes, had a nice dunk, getting to the basket. He also went 5 of 12 from the field and missed all of his threes, 0 of 4 from 3 tonight. He went 2 of 2 from the free throw line. You're just happy to see him scoring double figures. The problem also is that he had 5 turnovers. And this one, he didn't really know what to do or what he should be doing sometimes when he had the ball. And the Warriors was able to take advantage of that. He had 3 rebounds in the block, 1 offensive board, 2 personal fouls, was a +1 and plus minus. Bryce got the start due to injuries, and Ace Bailey was one of the guys that wasn't out there. So they said we need more scoring. We need somebody that can really get some good shots for us. And Bryce is a guy that's been doing it all season. 29 minutes for him, 21 points, 7 of 13 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3, 5 of 6 from the free throw line. He wants to fade away. He wants to get the spot up threes. You know that he's a guy that can, get hot a little bit and get his own shot. So it made sense. And he had 2 rebounds. He had 3 assists. He had 4 turnovers, though. That was the hardest part of his night, was not being able to make some of his decisions work out for him. But that's what the defense is supposed to do. He did have 2 blocks, and that was the most on the team. He also had 2 offensive rebounds, 2 personal fouls, was a +4 and plus minus. He liked the fact that he was efficient from the field. He was efficient from three, and he didn't really miss that many free throws because he only missed one. So his scoring was needed, and he was able to take some decent shots that he was comfortable with, and he was able to get them to go down. John Concar, 33 minutes, 2 points, 1 of 2 from the field. He missed his only shot from three, which was his only miss, but he did have 10 boards. So you're happy he was able to do other things since he didn't score the ball that much. He also had 3 assists, no turnovers, 3 steals. The 3 steals was the most on the team. He had 1 offensive rebound, 4 personal fouls, was a -3 and plus minus. Keontae George played 24 minutes. He had 15. If his jump shot is going, he's a tough cover because obviously you can't give him no room and no space from mid-range or three. And that also opened up his driving ability. But he went 1 of 5 from three. He did go 2 of 2 to the free throw line. He did still score. It just wasn't as efficient as you probably might want or like. But his teammates ended up stepping up and helping him out. And he did have 2 assists and a turnover. One person foul was a +4 and plus minus in the bench. Everybody scored in double figures. That's the biggest and the most reason why they won tonight. 15 minutes, 12 points for Kevin Love, 3 or 4 from the field, mainly going 3 or 3 from the 3-point line. He missed his only 2-pointer, which was the only shot that he missed. He also went 3 or 3 from the free throw line and had 8 boards. The 8 boards was tied for the most off the bench, showing you that he can still get that done, can still space the floor, and can still make the right decisions when he's out there and provide a lot of spacing. He had 1 assist, no turnover, and a steal. 1 offensive rebound, no personal foul, was a +6 and plus minus. Blake Henson, 28 minutes. That ended up being the most off the bench. He had 12 points and went 4 of 9 from the field. All threes. You leave him open, you give him a chance. He said, I'm taking it. And it ended up working for him a lot. And his teammates was finding him, and it was a good thing to see. 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 turnover, 4 personal fouls, and a -7 and plus minus. Oscar, 20 minutes, 10 points, 4 or 6 from the field, 2 or 2 from the free throw line. He had 8 boards, 1 assist, 1 steal, 4 offensive boards, 1 personal foul, was a +10 and plus minus. As long as he was making shots, you just happy that he came in and made the shots that was open, made the shots that was good, and killed it on the boards for the amount of minutes he played. And that's a strong performance from him. You never know what you're going to get when he enters the game, but he played with a lot of hustle and a lot of effort. The 4 offensive boards is a part of that, but he also did make some good shots too, and he made some that he should. He also missed 2 that he should have made too, but you rather go 4 or 6 than 2 or 6 or 3 or 6. Elijah Harkless, 24 minutes. He had 16 points. He had trouble making the three, but he did a good job of getting contact and playing physical. 16 points was the most off the bench, so that's a tough thing to do when everybody wants the ball and everybody's trying to do their part, especially on the offensive end. And he went 4 of 10 from the field, 1 of 4 from three, and 7 of 8 from the free throw line. So the free throw line really helped him a lot when it came to scoring points. And it just showed you that he was relentless at trying to get the shot that he wanted. And if he wasn't doing that, he was setting up his teammates. He finished with 6 assists, just made the fast passes. Like, I see you, let me get rid of it to you. I see you, I'm going to find you early. He didn't make it look predictable. He was always catching the Warriors off guard a little bit, and they needed that speed and quickness, and they also needed that toughness that he provided. 2 rebounds, 2 turnovers, and a steal, 2 personal fouls, and was a -1 and plus minus. 83 field goals for the Jazz. They shot 48% from the field, 99 shots from the Warriors. They shot 43%. 52 3-pointers taken by the Warriors, 31%. 34 taken by the Jazz from the 3-point line. They shot 35%. And then 29 free throws taken by the Jazz. They shot 93%. While the Warriors shot 8 less, which was 21. And they also shot 67%. So they was able to shoot better from the field, 3 and from the free throw line. And that's what you have to do when you get out rebounded. Too, is you have to play smarter. And I feel like the Warriors are good at that, but they missed a lot of opportunities. And then they got beat on the boards too. And then, they use the turnovers to stay in the game or still give themselves a chance. And you got to find a way to even it out so you can still win it. And the Warriors did a good job of that. It's just they came up a little short. 50 rebounds for the Jazz, 46 for the Warriors, 29 assists for the Jazz, 33 for the Warriors, 17 turnovers for the Jazz, 9 for the Warriors. And you don't really see the Warriors have 9. They've been taking really good care of the basketball, in a lot of these games. The Jazz did have 8 steals while the Warriors had 11. And then 4 blocks for the Jazz, 2 for the Warriors, 13 offensive rebounds for the Jazz, 19 for the Warriors. They was really using their speed and quickness to get those boards, and they still was trying to be as physical as they could. But I feel like the Jazz just had the size advantage, and they were just using that as much as they could also. And that can be a trade-off that you have to take. 37 defensive rebounds for the Jazz, only 27 for the Warriors. Obviously, the Jazz missed less shots than the Warriors, so it can be that way. And then 20 fouls for the Warriors, only 17 for the Jazz. And like I said, the Jazz did shoot more free throws and a better percentage. And like I said, man, the Warriors, they played a good game. They played a smart game. They played an intelligent game. But at the end of the day, it just wasn't enough in this one. I just feel like they just played so well off of each other and just kept finding ways to attack the Jazz at every angle, at every cut, and at every shot. It just, when the game just came down to who can keep making shots, the Warriors just couldn't get it done. The ball was still moving and the plays were still good, but they just couldn't put the ball in the basket and just couldn't score when it mattered sometimes. And even when they had the Santos 3, they still stayed in it. They still had an opportunity. They just couldn't get it to go. So, the Jazz, they ended up getting a good win. They shouldn't care that much, obviously, because their record is bad. So they're not going to really benefit too much for it. And the Warriors, they're a team that needed this win and really did a good job of doing whatever they could to stay in it, to be able to get it done. They never quit. They never gave up. But eventually, one team got to win, one team got to lose. And the Jazz played good enough to get it done. And they ain't mad about it because they wanted to win and they played like they wanted it. And I'm surprised because a lot of people said they're tanking and they're trying to lose. In this game, it looked like they was playing for pride. We don't want to lose. We feel like we can beat y'all. We feel like we're better than y'all. And then they got it done. And, the Warriors is a team that you're going to have to beat. Steve Kerr and those guys, they're going to find a way to try to score. They're going to find a way to try to defend you. They're going to find a way to change up that lineup to however they need to get an advantage or to get themselves in the game or keep the lead. So they're a tough team to close out. And they proved that tonight again. It just sucks for the Warriors fans to see another loss when y'all worked so hard to get a good record. Y'all got the loss of Jimmy Butler, and Steph still ain't playing. And then you look at it with all the losses y'all been getting lately. It's been a nightmare season for the Warriors fans and just the whole organization. And at this point, they've been just going so far down that you just look at and say, should they even want to play in game? Like, should they want it at this point? If Steph don't come back, this can get even worse. And I think that's what we all probably feel like it is. But I still like the fact that they went out there and competed and played as hard as they could and gave themselves a chance to win. And at the end of the day, that's all you can do. It just wasn't enough in this one. Comment, like, subscribe, share. Hit that notification bell to get the analysis when it first come out. Y'all stay blessed up. Y'all stay good. Peace. And I'll see y'all later today with more analysis.